The fact that I could see that the spear was not going to work from the offset, and they did not change it to a Spanish fly, or have Matt hit the side effect, or have Sammy do a running crossbody as opposed to a spear, so that way you didn't overshoot the table. It'd be better if you didn't do the spot at all, but if you're going to do the fucking spot, those would have been way safer alternatives. Tony Khan, get some fucking managers, or not even managers, get some damn agents, because it's a life or death situation at this point now. Matt Hardy could have fucking died tonight. That's not me using fucking hyperbole. He could have been fucking dead tonight in that fucking street fight, whatever the fuck it was. Jesus Christ.
Wake up your mind.
Oh boy, what a week in AEW news. There was actually some bad news this week. There was also very good news. The majority of it is still good news, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the bad news. You will hear it all here tonight on the Alternative Podcast. Colin could not join us today. And if you can tell by my voice, I'm really not looking forward to having to talk bad about AEW in any sense of the word, but we kind of do because there was some missteps at AEW All Out. And I'm not alone. To join me in the discussion, I got the boys from Open Mic Night, Mike Nikos and Michael X, with me here today. Michael X, say hello to everybody. Where can they check you out?
Hopefully not in the shower. That's
Well, yeah, that's not a good idea.
yeah, that's a bad idea. You don't know what could happen, and what I mean by that, not in that type of way that most people are going to take it. More of a please don't appear. Oh God, now they're literally going to attempt to appear in my shower. Oh God.
Well, I mean, they've already. If they're Indie Force fans, they've already appeared in Mike Nikos' fridge. So.
Well, not
Definitely.
anymore, because now the fridge is broken.
Oh shit! It was the fans' fault, wasn't it?
You let them out, right?
Yeah.
Nico, you let them out, right?
Yes.
Okay, because that could get really bad if they were still stuck in the fridge and there's no power.
Who says I let them out?
Oh shit. Anyway, Nikos, where could they check you out?
Hopefully not in my fridge.
Okay, social media, guys, come on.
In the description below.
In the book of face.
Yes. Well, yeah.
The Twitter.
Yeah, there you go. They'll be in the description, guys. You could all. Meanwhile, you could catch me. You could also catch us on Open Mic Night, the Indie Force, Jay Hebert Side, Wrestling with Idiocy, FTW Productions. Let's just not delay. That'll be in the description as well. Let's just get into this. We're just gonna get straight into it. The Matt Hardy controversy. I mean, where the fuck do I begin? I mean, I don't know. I've talked about it. I haven't talked about it on here yet, but I have talked to you guys about this shit at absolute fucking nauseum at how stupid this was. I don't know, Nikos, if you thought the same thing when you initially saw the spot live where Matt legitimately was concussed. Like, anybody with two eyes can tell you he was concussed, and lo and behold, when they went to the hospital for further evaluation, he was concussed. So Doc Samson's fucking, word means fucking nothing, by the way. So good job there, Tony. Good job there, Tony. Fucking moron.
I mean, obviously, for me, I was kind of taken out of it in the botch before the Broken Rules match. But since we're talking about this match in particular, yeah, that spot kind of took me out of it. Kind of made me worried and uneasy.
It took me out of the entire pay-per-view. I'll be honest with you. It really hurt the rest of the fucking pay-per-view. What I had to do to really enjoy the pay-per-view And by the way, the pay-per-view itself was not without its problems. We will definitely talk about that. But what I had to do after the initial event was I had to watch it again and completely skip the Matt Sammy match. That was God's honest truth. The only way I could truly enjoy this pay-per-view with a clear mindset.
I don't know. It didn't really taint for me because I looked at it as somebody that said shit happens. And in the world of pro wrestling, shit happens all the time.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, and I've talked about this with you before, Mike. It's like, how was there not a fucking agent that said, this is a bad idea, this is going to go wrong if you do it this way? Why not do a Spanish fly? Why not do a rock bottom or just have Matt hit the fucking side effect? There was no reason they should have done the spear.
No, agreed. But you and I have already had, just so that way people know, when the pay-per-view happened, you and I had about an hour conversation talking about that specifically. And all I can really say about the matter from at least my personal perspective of, we could say that he should have hit a different move. The spot should have never happened. There's not much that can be done. But I thought of a more practical thing, which is, why not, instead of the way that they did it, either put another table as security just to make sure, or put them fucking vertically instead of horizontally set up.
I would have also suggested the same thing. Like, based from where they set up the tables, that looked too, I want to say close.
Yeah, it looked way too narrow as the problem.
Well, narrow, close to the scissor lift, but yeah, you get the idea.
New Jack and fucking, what's his name?
Jack
where
Victory.
The scaffold match later on, but the first time Jack fucking pulls him down with him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I actually give credit. I'll give credit to Jack Victory, because Jack Victory was actually almost tried to back out because he realized how stupid it was.
They practice it twice, but I'm one of those people that says, do it 5 to 10 times.
Yeah.
Do it to the point where you're able to just go, all right. So there was.
And by the way, you probably not to mention, you forget to mention the fact they probably crashed. They probably practice on a crash pad.
They probably to see which one feels the most natural for both of us to do, and that's the spot we're gonna do.
Well, yeah, and you also forget to mention the fact that, you know, they probably practice on a fucking crash pad too, which is another fucking problem. That's another fucking issue. So, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's weird. By the way, can you still hear us, Mike, or something? Or
yes.
Okay, cool.
I just might have a plug-in issue, so I had to flip my phone around.
Of course. Anyway, so yeah, I it's been talked about ad nauseum at this fucking point by everybody else. This shouldn't have fucking happened the way it did. Don't do dumb spots like that again. In fact, next pay-per-view, no gimmick matches. Deadass.
Yeah,
no more fucking gimmick matches. I'm done with them.
I think having gimmick matches the whole night would kind of ruins the whole pay-per-view. It's the WWE problem of having like the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, and almost every fucking match is in the Hell in the Cell. It's like, it ruins.
Or like 2 or 3 main events. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to get to the other gimmick matches that just missed the mark. Well, some of them did, others didn't. There was just like a botch in one, and otherwise it was relatively okay. But
the show, honestly, out of like a 5, I give it like a 3.5. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, but it's still, but compared to everything else we've seen by AEW standards, this was definitely the worst pay-per-view they've ever done.
I mean, in their short history. I mean, keep in mind, they were fighting in like 107-degree humidity.
Yes, I know that. Yeah. I mean, yes, there was a lot wrong, obviously, but there was problems booking here. There was some real glaring booking issues that need to be fucking addressed, and a lot of people aren't going to address because And for those that are going to call me, a fucking AEW cocksucker, you can put that to fucking rest tonight. Because what the fuck was that first match? That was pre-taped. Yeah, the fucking... We're talking about tooth and nail. I'm not talking about the pre-show. I'm talking about the first fucking match on the main show. Who the fuck signed off on having that open the card?
Honestly, I saw it as a way to get that out of the way so that people would...
Then put it on the fucking pre-show! And by the way, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how long it's been fucking built. Because B. Priestley and fucking Britt Baker was going on forever, and that was still fucking kicked to the fucking pre-show. Now, all of a sudden, these fucking social justice warriors fucking put up a goddamn fuss, and then they put this shit on the main card. Yeah, I bet you guys feel real fucking stupid now. Because, again, what the fuck was this?
A cinematic match.
If I don't like that kind of dumb shit from WWE, what the fuck makes you think I'm going to enjoy this? And everybody's going to be like, well, you like Stadium Stampede. Yeah, here's the difference between Stadium Stampede. Stadium Stampede, while it was cinematic, was also a fucking match. This wasn't a match. This was some fucking whacked out fucking cheesy horror flick that transitioned into a fucking match. Which, by the way, was fucking jarring.
It was more of a comedy, really.
It was jarring as fuck. We're supposed to take Big Swole fucking seriously. How the fuck are we supposed to take her seriously ever again after this fucking thing? I can't take either one of them fucking seriously again.
And it was disappointing that the fact that Britt Baker would lose, even though that it took place at a dentistry where she could have used the whole arsenal of what she knows to her advantage. I mean, it's called a tooth and nail match.
The fact that, and that's another thing. The fact that Britt Baker lost in her own fucking dental office. I'm sick to death.
I understand. I'm sick to death.
You put a gimmick. Hold on. Let me finish. You put a gimmick for a certain fucking wrestler. In this case, it's Britt Baker. She's a fucking dentist. You have them fight in the fucking dentist office, and she loses in her place of work. I'm sick to death of them creating the fucking match and then them fucking losing it. Not
It's
saying
kind of
that.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that has to happen. I'm not saying you can't have the other person lose, and it backfires on them every time. Like we'll get, the Mimosa Mayhem, for example. That made fucking sense. This didn't. You can't tell me this did. This is her place of work. You know what I mean? Like, this is her place of work, and she's losing in her place of work. How much of a geek are you trying to make Britt Baker fucking look here?
I mean, it's been a while since she's, wrestled anything. If you would have at least put her in a match, we would have seen what she would be able to do. But having her fight in a dentistry, that kind of...
It's stupid, but if you're gonna do it, at least have her fucking win. You made her look like a fucking geek.
Well, she was always a geek, let's be honest.
Well, and I'd be okay with that if this was no other, person in the AEW women's roster. Here's the fucking problem. This was the first women signed to the fucking company. Who does that shit? Your first fucking woman, and you make her look like a geek in the span of what? The entirety of this fucking feud, by the way. I'm not even just gonna count this fucking, what is it? Fucking this particular match. This entire feud, Britt Baker has looked like a fucking geek. The entire time.
Now, I'm gonna say this. I didn't hate the match. As a match type, I didn't hate it. I won't sit there and say that. I didn't hate the Boneyard match. I just thought it was a stupid ass idea.
Same.
Well, I'd argue the Boneyard match was actually better than this.
And that's
like
a
it's
fair
not
argument.
even close. It's not even close.
I think the problem is with this match type specifically is that it was just really fucking boring. It's because it was so, you could tell as soon as the pay-per-view starts, in a sense that, yeah, Britt Baker was going to lose.
And why? And again, it's like, why? You make her fight her at her fucking office. For what?
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Does anybody remember when Shane Douglas used to use the chain for like his power of the punch?
Yes.
And then somebody would hit him with his chain and it would do nothing to him.
Yep.
And it's like, you're literally putting your own move down every time you do that. And in this case, it's taking her profession and making it say, or making somebody go, it's not that impressive. And it's like, you don't do that.
I don't give a fuck what you want to tell me, because yes, there have been goofy stuff in AEW. There are certain goofy gimmicks that work. This ain't it, Chief. This ain't fucking it. This should have been a regular one-on-one match. This was originally advertised as a regular one-on-one match between these two. It should have fucking stuck that way.
Honestly, I gotta give like respect for Britt Baker being as the first female to be signed on to AEW, but ever since she got fucked over by Rio for the championship and having her being
it's been a downhill spiral. Actually, I agree with you. Yeah, it's been an absolute downhill spiral since then.
Like, I understand the whole role model thing, being the heel, but honestly,
and she's been entertaining. Well, that's the thing. I think she gets good heat. I think she's been entertaining, and I think she did need to be a heel. Don't get me wrong.
But the
not
problem is
jobber heel.
But the problem is that I had is, why was she targeting Big Swole to begin with when she had nothing to do with the reason why Britt Baker was descending down this downward spiral? Why couldn't she have been targeting Rio?
In fairness, in that regard, I think Big Swole went after her first, and then that's kind of how that started. Which, yes, it's ass backwards, because if anybody should start anything with anybody, it should be the heel having a problem with the babyface.
Yeah.
But I think she did mention.
It's wrestling 101.
Yeah.
You can absolutely do the babyface going after the heel, but it has to feel like it makes sense. And it has to be deliberate, Yes. You can't just be like, the babyface is going to go after the heel because the heel has nothing going on right now. It's like, you're pulling the curtain away.
Yes.
And making it look really dumb. Honestly, at the end of the day, this match made both women involved
look stupid.
And I get it. I get why they did the match. I get why they did the cinematic stuff. I get why they did it, because it was all about time.
I don't actually. No, I won't even say that, because I don't actually.
I have a theory.
Okay.
More than anything, why it was shifted from that to the main show was the fact that they
we know why. It's because the fucking social justice warriors made a fucking stink about it.
So instead of, it would have been fine as a pre-show.
Actually, no. I would have been okay with it being on the main card if it was a main match. I would have been fine with that.
By the way, here's how every company should be doing cinematic matches. Just so that way, A, it saves time, and B, so that way your athletes can take a break.
Yeah.
To give the example, let's say you have your athletes pass a curtain, right?
Yep.
I mean,
then that's recorded footage. That's stuff that's already been recorded and prepped up and ready to go. So that way they can just sit behind the curtain, chill out, and get ready to do the spot when they come back from the backstage back to the ring. It cuts time. It's so that way the athletes are rested. They're still getting paid. They did all the stuff that they had to do for the spot. And so nobody's getting fucking hurt for stupid ass reasons.
Yeah.
That's all you would have. That's how I think cinematic matches should be done. It's not really a cinematic. It's more of.
It's more do what you did. In other words, do what NXT did with Pat McAfee and Adam Cole, basically.
Yeah. Which is if you're going to do stuff, if you're going to do pre-recorded stuff, do pre-recorded stuff where you can splice it from the actual thing to backstage footage at a certain angle that looks like there's no change.
Yep. Now, those two things aside, the whole Matt stuff and the actually there is one more thing we do need to mention that was a bad idea. There is another thing after that, but I want to save that towards the end when we both give our thoughts on the pay-per-view as a whole. The fucking casino battle royal, specifically, and I'm talking about this fucking spot where not the Matt Sydal spot, because that was just a freak accident. You couldn't plan for that, and it was hot as hell there. So I can't give him too much shit for that.
That was the spot that actually took me out of the.
No, I'll tell you the spot that took me out, because that actually was like, shit happens. That's a moment where I'm like, shit happens. This is the moment that took me out. Who the fuck's idea was it? And who the fuck did not step in and say, let's not have Darby Allin go into a fucking black body bag filled with thumbtacks to slam him on the fucking powerbomb him while he's in the body bag on the fucking ramp.
You guys had a problem?
No, I did have a problem with that. Whose stupid idea was that? It'd be one thing if Darby Allin could do the high risk shit, and I don't know, the dude could see where the fuck he's going. But you could have fucking killed this guy.
Honestly, I didn't have a problem with it because I knew Darby could handle it.
Right.
No,
I mean, Darby jumped off a bridge in one of his promos.
No,
I think he could handle something like this.
No, I understand that, but there was a difference there. He jumped off the bridge and it was in water. This is on a hard surface, dude. He can't see. I understand this is Darby Allin we're talking about. I understand that aspect of it. I understand he probably is the one who recommended this spot. I have no doubt in my fucking mind that he probably did. I don't fucking care. This was fucking dumb because he was 2 inches away from having his head careen into the fucking bottom step. That's why I was so mad about it. He could have actually fucking got concussed because of this shit.
Can I counter your point? If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Because I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but I feel like it's needed. If Darby's the one that created the spot, I don't really have an issue with it. Because that's what he's willing to do. That's like James. That's like
I don't have an issue with him doing it per se. I have an issue with him doing it because he's such a future fucking star for this fucking company, and he's actually connected with the audience that it will be bad if he goes fucking down. Darby Allin, along with Jungle Boy, MJF, and a bunch of other fucking people, are the future of this fucking company. Why jeopardize him?
Well, that's the whole thing. AEW at this point, if what is said is true, Darby Allin is jeopardizing Darby Allin. AEW is just saying if that's what you want to do,
but it's okay
doing it too.
That's fine, and I understand that
the whole independent. He's the one that created the spot.
That's fine.
As I said, you can make the thing for Hardy and Guevara because that was just a dumbass idea to begin with. But this was a spot that was probably created by Darby, a thing that he's really wanted to try out to show how tough he is. Because if he could take that, he could take anything.
I mean, the whole idea as well, I guess, was to get Ricky Starks and Brian Cage over as like big money heels. And like Ricky Starks, again, a guy who's I'm sure his intentions were good. You know, I don't know. There were so many ways you could have done that. I would have I'll tell you how I would have had this happen, honestly. If you were to have a regular body bag and you could see through it, we'll just say.
Well, but you can't see through a body bag.
Yeah, but there's a way you could probably do it. Like where I'm like, there's a way you could probably cut holes into it where you could at least see the cloth. Where nobody else can know that you see the cloth. They do this shit in movies all the time. If they were to do that and then have the thumbtacks instead of spread out in the bag on the outside of the ramp, I would have been more okay with that because then it still looks brutal, and then you're not risking him seriously getting hurt. Like, I'm fine with him taking the risks, but there's a way you could take the risk without hurting yourself so fucking bad. I mean, Christ's sake, Jeff Hardy was doing it for years, even though he's taken a shit ton of, freak accident bumps. But he has done stuff where, he's made it look brutal, but it wasn't actually that brutal. In that regard, because Darby Allin's such a hot, star, you know what I mean? Like, in a sense of he's the future of the company, you got to have him protect himself.
That's true, but James, can't you say the same thing with Mick Foley when he was doing all the shit that he was doing in...
Yeah, and I understand that, we know a lot more now than we did back then. There is ways you could still make it look brutal. How, for Christ's sake, how many Shane spots look brutal over the fucking years?
No, I'm not.
You know what I mean?
But I'm not disagreeing that point. What I'm trying to say is, if you're going to have one standard for a specific athlete of the hardcore style, then that's the layout. That's how it is.
That's
Darby
fine.
is proving that he could take the hits and he can keep going. I don't really have that big of an issue with the body bag spot.
Neither do I.
I don't know. I mean,
honestly,
I got scared. That's what it was.
And that's
I don't want him.
And I think, yeah, absolutely, they were cutting it way too close to the stairs. But knowing Darby, he would have hit the steps. He would have rubbed the side of his head and said, "Yeah, I'll be fine."
Yeah, well,
and just
fair
think
enough.
that they would have done it again, which they nearly did, only with a different match. If you'll allow me, the Shida versus Thunder Rosa match. Thunder Rosa nearly got concussed.
That was way too fucking close. Yeah, although the match was very fucking good.
That's
good. I heavily enjoyed that match.
That was the best women's match AEW's ever put on.
Oh, true.
It's not even close. I love that fucking match. That was a great champion versus champion affair. I thought that them working with the NWA is fucking smart. I genuinely enjoyed that. I enjoyed the pay-per-view other than those three freaking things I thought just kind of dampened it a little bit. But otherwise, I really did enjoy the pay-per-view. Nikos, what did you think about it?
Honestly, overall, aside from those three matches, yeah, I too enjoyed the three pay-per-views. The one complaint I had with the Casino Battle Royale, I'm going to be honest, I did not know who Matt Sydal was until I saw him go up the top rope and fall. At that moment, I was like, oh shit, that's Evan Bourne.
Yeah, that's Evan Bourne. Evan Bourne was Matt Sydal before he came to the WWE, and they changed it to Evan Bourne, yeah.
I mean, the moment he made impact on the ground after he fell from the top rope, the moment he hit, I'm like, oh, that has to be Evan Bourne. I recognize that fall anywhere.
Yeah, it was, dude, and how bad is it?
Talking about fucking pulling out underrated heroes, huh?
Dude, how about the fact that the poor guy hits the move perfect every single time, and because there was so much sweat because of the fucking humidity, and everybody was probably on all four corners, he slips. And that was the first move, other than the lifting knee strike on Shawn Spears, that he's going to deliver.
I thought to myself, oh man, he just buried himself.
He'll be all right. He'll come back on Dynamite and he'll do fine. I guarantee you, he'll be all right.
They understand it's like the human. First off, this is why this thing, if I remember correctly, wasn't it held out outdoors?
Yeah, it was held outdoors in Daly's place.
Yeah, I wouldn't have fucking held that as an outdoor arena.
No, I agree.
I would have said we're gonna do. At this point, they should just try to find indoor arenas to do from this point on.
Yeah, but still, they're still going to be doing it at Daisy's place in Jacksonville until this whole thing clears up.
Which, by the way,
one can hope that
Which, by the way, that can't come soon enough. I'm telling you, the shit needs to end. Because, by the way, even before the Matt Hardy spot, everybody's like, "Oh well, everybody's like, well, the crowd was taken out after the Matt Hardy thing. No, the crowd sucked all night. Let's not fucking defend it. The crowd really didn't make a lot of noise. I enjoyed the action for the most part, but they were not into this pay-per-view in the slightest. Let's not fucking kid ourselves.
Not even the baseball match across the street helped. I mean, did anyone hear the fireworks that was going on?
Oh my god, that was funny. Actually, I would have just had, just for a comedic spot, even though it would have taken away from the match, I would have just had everybody stop and look at the fucking fireworks.
Yeah.
Be like, ooh, pretty.
I honestly thought that was a malfunction. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, same.
Like,
That's what I thought. And then Jay was like, hey, you can hear that, ladies and gentlemen? There's a baseball game. They're shooting off fireworks in the baseball game across the street. Like, Jesus Christ.
Hey, I would rather hear a dead crowd than hear a crowd that is composed of WWE 2K fucking 18 static crowd sound effects.
Oh,
you're not on there.
Bring that in now?
Thunderdome dude confirmed Thunderdome is using fucking WWE 2K 18 static crowd sound effects.
That's a fact. Don't get it twisted.
I would rather hear a silent crowd than a fake crowd.
I agree. That much I will agree with you on honestly. Although everybody's like, well, you have a fake crowd. Yeah, no shit, because we're CAW.
But we're a fake show.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a fake show that put on an 8-hour spectacle.
I would rather more have a silent crowd than a violent crowd. The reason why I'm bringing this up is, does anyone remember when Moxley was walking down the ring, he was nearly, like, attacked by a fan?
Oh my god. Yes.
I actually had to rewind that a couple times to see if he was actually going to attack him or something.
Yeah, Mike X, what'd you think? What'd you think about the pay-per-view?
I think, honestly, it's good. It's not a terrible pay-per-view. It's got a couple, like, fuck-ups. But for the conditions that they were in, you can't even blame them. It's like if you had try imagine working a 30-minute non-stop paced match. Because remember, 30 minutes is usually the base time for a pay-per-view match anyway. 30 minutes.
Right.
In 107% humidity.
I think it was like 102 temperature and 107% humidity.
Yeah.
Fucking
You try to work in those conditions outside.
Yeah. They need this pandemic needs to end because they need to get the fuck out of Daly's place. Deadass.
I mean,
just for that alone, because that's not the first time they've been working in those conditions.
And I don't usually like giving, like, oh, well, you got to give them slack. I don't usually like doing that. But it's like, I'm not going to blame like a WWE Saudi Arabia show to be shit. Because I can't blame the athletes for working in a desert environment that hits 120 degrees.
No, that's fair.
Fuck that.
That's fair.
I can't blame the athletes for that shit.
I could blame Vince. I can't even blame. In this case, you can make the argument you can't even blame Tony because where the fuck else is he going to go?
He literally has no other choice.
So I mean, it's fucked. It's a fucked situation.
If I was Tony Khan at this point, I would ask, let's transfer to Philadelphia, grab a small arena that's not outdoor. That expensive. Yeah. No, that's indoor, a fucking indoor arena. I wouldn't know
if they do outdoor, then they can't have fans. If they do open air arenas, then they're all right. I would recommend finding an outdoor one. Like a baseball field or something.
Like, they need to find locations where they're able to go, okay, so the heat in this location for, like, the next couple months doesn't look like it's going to be that bad.
Yeah. Or it's not fucking below freezing. Well, that's a whole different discussion when we get to it. If this continues any longer, hopefully this fucking shit ends by October, like they're saying. But let's talk about the main event because I did want to bring something up. What did everybody enjoy? First off, Nikos, Mike, what did you guys think of the main event of the pay-per-view?
I thought it was good.
I thought it was amazing.
Very, very good.
And I knew that Moxley was going to cheat when the ref was turned, and I knew they were going to work on something like a whole MJF revenge thing, which would have been fine. And at some point, I guessed exactly when Wardlow was going to pull out the ring. Like, you see MJF stumbling around, I'm like, at this point, they're going to pull out the ring. And who would have thunk it? You see Wardlow on the ropes, throws the ring.
Miscalculates it, and then paradigm shift, 1, 2, 3, yeah.
Yep.
Now,
I will say this, if you don't mind, good sir, before you get to your point.
Yeah.
Moxley's been getting a lot of fucking hate on the internet for the fact that he has this title.
I don't think he deserves the hate.
Am I the only one that sees it?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't think he deserves it. However, I like the action in the match. So this is kind of a complicated thing. I liked the match, but something felt off about it. I didn't know what the fuck it was. And then lo and behold, somehow in my recommendation, I see a clip of Old Corny reviewing the match. And he talks about how the roles were completely reversed, where Mox looked like the heel in the match for a majority of it, and MJF looked like the Ricky Morton babyface. And the minute he said that, I said, fuck. Fuck, he's right. Jim's right.
I kind of have to see it now because from what I remember throughout the match, most of the damage was done from Moxley. Like, he's been throwing around MJF like a babyface, and now it's gotten me thinking he's probably right.
Yeah, fuck. And here's the problem. It'd be one thing if you did the whole thing, and then, MJF does the whole, he pulls the shoulder down. From that moment on, Moxley should not have regained the momentum with the slingshot. If anything, MJF should have slingshot Moxley into the post. And Mox should have been the one to get the color.
I think
that's the problem. It was like everything that Moxley did to MJF should have been doing to Moxley. And then if they wanted to do some extra stuff, they could have, where Moxley, is getting the upper hand and coming back and getting back up.
I think, honestly, James, you know how we said a long time ago that there are some people in the industry that you just can't have work together for the simple fact that it's conflicting of their storylines?
Right.
This is one of those matches where it's very conflictive, specifically because Moxley has to look brutal.
Bull, because you know why? I'll tell you why. That's bullshit. How many times was Austin on his back when he was a babyface and he was the ass-kicking machine? And anytime, the heel was talking shit, Austin would flip him off, and then he'd hit him again, and then Austin would make his big comeback, and then he started brutalizing him, and then he took him to the outside, and then he did that. That is what I'm talking about. If Moxley would have done that, this match would have been perfect. But, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the match. I want to make that very clear. The action was fucking awesome. It's just the roles should have been reversed for a majority of it. I don't know why MJF looked like Ricky Morton in this situation.
Honestly, now I kind of see it through Mike's understanding, where it's supposed to make Moxley look like brutal, and the fact that it almost looked like they didn't work well together. So that's probably an outstanding point.
Yeah, but the problem is then, there's a way you could have done it where both were in their proper roles and both still could have gotten over. Doing it the way they did it, they inadvertently turned MJF babyface when that was not the intention at all. Because I guarantee you have a crowd in that arena, that crowd's going to fucking start cheering for MJF and booing Moxley. Because that's how that match is laid out.
And honestly, if that's how they were going to turn MJF in a single night, is to have him go up against Moxley and just be fucking brutalized by the champion, I wouldn't. Honestly, I can't complain if that was the intent.
Yeah, but that wasn't the intent.
No, that wasn't the
Obviously.
intent, and that's where the complaint, for at least on my side, comes from.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
It should have been the other way around. You know what I mean?
Other than that, it's a very good match. I'd honestly, when it comes to how much action was in there, I'd give it like 4 stars of how good it was.
Yeah. It's just the layout was all fucked up.
Here's how I could describe the layout. It's very Rock versus fucking Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
With fucking having, Boss Man throwing the nightstick into the ring. It's very, it's one of those moments, and hopefully we'll get a better idea later.
I love the ending. I actually like the ending because everybody was back. The ending was fantastic because everybody was back in their proper place. Because MJF was trying to cheat to win, and then Wardlow fumbled the toss of the ring, and so Moxley got one look at that ring and it's like, oh, okay, motherfucker, and then Paradigm shift him, and used the illegal maneuver to beat him when the referee's back was turned, and then Wardlow realized, oh shit, I could be fired tomorrow. Fucking great.
I kind of want to see a feud between Wardlow and MJF now, but
I do too. I do.
That's what they should take it. That's the natural place to take it, is to have MJF slowly but surely join up with Sean Spears and FTR.
I think honestly, I think what should happen, and I've been saying this for a while now, what should happen is, while you're doing that slow burn on MJF's side, you should do a slow burn with Brian Cage and Taz, because I think Ricky Starks and MJF would be a much better team, and I think Brian Cage and Wardlow would be a much better fucking team. Think about it. You got 2 mic workers that can fucking, really get a crowd to boo and just hate them, and I mean hate them, especially MJF. But Ricky is really good too. And then you got, the big, beefy, athletic baby faces in Wardlow and Brian Cage. I think that's a money program, and then whoever wins can, challenge for the tag team titles next. I don't know about you, but after seeing Wardlow's performance against Cody and then seeing Brian Cage just in general throughout his entire career, love to see a tag team match between Wardlow and Brian Cage versus, FTR in the future.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
Honestly, I agree.
So, if they're smart, I think they should do that. Overall, yeah, this is the worst out of all the AEW pay-per-views. That's not to say this one still wasn't good, but it definitely missed the mark compared to everything else.
Everything else so far with AEW has been between a 4 and a 5 range, like a 4.5 with almost every pay-per-view.
This was like a 3 to 3.5.
This is probably like a 3 1/4 equivalent pay-per-view.
Yeah, and
it's that part of the middle ground where it's like, it's not 3.5, it's not even really 3. It's a fucking weird percentage.
Yeah,
and it doesn't, and it's not even a 2.5. It's not that bad, but
it's not.
Is good enough.
Listen, there will never be a 1 pay-per-view except for maybe Heroes of Wrestling.
Yeah, actually, if we're talking about shows of all time, I'd say the first Thunderdome show was fucking tragic. But then again, they're also doing that every week, so they probably have gotten worse since I last watched. So,
is it because it has actual cases of people having seizures watching their shows?
Uh-huh.
Did you not hear about the 5 hospitalizations off of the Thunderdome specifically?
Oh, great. Oh, so what I predicted already. What I predicted already. Fucking God help them. I hope they get better, actually. I feel their pain. Not to that degree, but I still feel their pain.
I Question for you boys before we head out of here.
Well, we're not done yet. We got Dynamite to talk about and other shit.
No, I know, but just a quick one before we get off the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Who is somebody, since, AEW likes bringing in outside talent, who's somebody that you would like to appear for like a short stint? Maybe not as like a wrestler, but just somebody to appear.
Oh no, a wrestler. It's got to be a wrestler for me. For a wrestler, Kazuchika Okada, 100%. Okada, like, absolutely. I think they should bring him in. Either him or Tetsuya Naito.
Okay.
Or Kota Ibushi. Those would be my top three. And Nick Aldis. How do I forget about Nick?
Okay. Nikos?
Honestly, two of the ones James already picked, but if I were to choose a non-wrestler to just come back to make like an appearance again, I'd say Tyson. I feel like when Tyson came to Double or Nothing, I think it really gave like a huge pop. So having him again would actually be nice. But as a wrestler, honest to God, and I don't think they'll ever do this, but one can only hope. Reigns.
I think you'd be used a far lot better.
Yeah, but
honestly,
hey,
I think he'd get over way better than he is right now.
Yeah.
For me, actually, this just occurred to me. If we're talking about non-wrestlers that turn into wrestlers, even though he already was a wrestler, Cain Velasquez, I think he got fucking shafted when he was in the WWE. I think he got fucking shafted. If you watch his AAA debut, fucking phenomenal. Like, it was right up there with some of the best celebrity appearances I've ever seen. And he didn't look like a celebrity. He had the lucha mask on by that point. But, you knew it was Cain Velasquez because they reported on him like, holy shit, that was Cain Velasquez? He looked fucking great here. What the fuck? So I think Cain Velasquez, they should bring into AEW because, I feel like he got shafted and I feel like he could do a lot better in AEW 100%. I think his career, he'd be a lot more free. He'd be able to work with guys he wants to work with. He'd be able to work the style that he wants to work. Because if you remember, the minute they brought him in, he was one-dimensional from the fucking off because it was the rematch with Brock, and so they made him have a worked fucking shoot fight with Brock Lesnar just to get Brock his fucking win back when he lost to Cain. Keep in mind, by the way, this is how fucking pathetic they are. They rematched a former UFC championship fight. A match where Cain Velasquez destroyed Lesnar. And they do this, I think, 10 years fucking later after the fact? Mm-hmm. And then give Brock his fucking win back on a fake fucking sport?
Talk about petty.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, if I'm Cain Velasquez, I'm glad I'm fucking out of there. Like, and he wasn't even there for a full fucking year?
Agreed. Honestly, Cain got super fucked over.
It seemed like a week he was there or something.
No, he barely was there for, on TV for a fucking week, but he was there in the company almost for a full year. And then Vince got pissed off that him and Ronda took a fucking photo outside Titan Towers and decided to fucking fire their ass along with everybody else. And so, that's why you don't know that's why Ronda went off the way she did.
I mean, that I knew, but the whole
thing that's part of the fucking reason. That's part of the fucking reason. Everybody thinks that she was just shitting on the fans. She was sitting on WWE fans, the ones that shit on her for taking the fucking picture at Titan Tower.
Yeah.
Like, no shit. I would be pissed too, because fuck you. You're not going to tell me what the fuck... you don't run my life, you asshole. Get the fuck over yourself. Uh-huh. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not shocked that, And by the way, that even gets me. I wouldn't mind seeing Ronda Rousey in AEW. They should be allowed to be a lot better utilized. I think she could work however the fuck she wanted, and she wouldn't feel like she's undervalued. That's not to say. And she's a phenomenal heel. We know that. She could be a phenomenal bad chick. So I don't know.
I'm
One of those two.
probably gonna say for like my two picks are David Benoit.
Yeah, that's an obvious.
I would say have him build a rep in New Japan, but
Yeah, obviously, but I think he would be able to do much more in AEW than anywhere else, especially if you have him and Brian Pillman Jr. fucking up together. That's just a great idea
Yeah.
because you're able to do so much with it. And for somebody who's not an athlete, I'm gonna pick fucking Lance Storm.
Lance Storm's always been an athlete. What do you mean? He's always
Well,
been
I
a
mean,
wrestler.
specifically in a position of him and Jericho.
Oh, okay,
Together to remake the Thrill. Him and Jericho coming together to reunite the Thrill Seekers.
So not an active wrestler is what you meant.
No, not active, but I mean absolutely to him and Jericho fucking running.
I think Lance Storm retired.
Yeah,
I think
and
Lance Storm retired.
It'd be perfect for him, honestly. So that way, him and Jericho can do the stuff that everybody wants to see them do.
I mean,
and finally be able to go, hey, you know what? Jericho can finally just take his way from becoming a wrestler and start becoming a manager and promoter in that sense. So that way, he takes a break for a while.
That's fair.
And you'll have Lance, who honestly, no fucking joke. There's a lot of shit that we could say about Lance Storm and what he thinks about the business and shit like that because he has his idea of how wrestling should be. But there's no denying that he is a fucking incredible athlete.
Yeah.
Lance Storm is he's definitely not the guy that put butts in seats, but he's the guy that you're like, huh.
He'd be a great opening match. 100%. Yeah.
He's either a great opening match or
the middle of the road,
the middle of the road opener,
hype,
or even then the continuer of a storyline. Because I mean, for God's sake, ECW, him and Chris Candido, or even him and Justin Credible are incredible. Honestly, they are some of the best tag team action you're ever going to see.
Dude, anybody that Lance Storm pretty much
has teamed with got some sort of championship. I remember, him and Jericho was like the first iteration of that, but I loved his tag team with Candido, and I loved his tag team with Credible. I really, really enjoyed his Team Canada gimmick in WCW. That was like the one bright spot in WCW 2000 was Lance Storm's fucking push. Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal.
Lance Storm is one of the most underrated athletes, but he is one of the greatest workhorses you're ever going to get.
Yeah, 100%.
For your job.
Yeah, I mean, if he could still go and you could have him on like a one-off appearance too, I wouldn't be opposed to it as well.
I mean, you can build a whole story with him and Jericho.
True.
For about like a year and a half, leading to a match of them.
I will say, if you're going to do that, you are going to have to maybe push Proud and Powerful to the side and have him join up with Eddie Kingston, because if you're going to bring in Lance Storm, you're going to have there's going to have to be a new fifth person involved, because there's no way in hell, like, Hager makes sense, Sammy makes sense, Jericho makes sense. I've always thought this, and I have been thinking this for a while. As good as the team is, Proud and Powerful doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, they really don't. That's why I said Storm would be the good choice, for the fact that if here's how I could describe their friendship. If Jericho's the champagne, then the way I could absolutely describe Lance Storm is that he's the chaser before the shot of champagne.
So I mean, it's better than, I guess, Jericho being a mimosa for sure.
He's definitely the mix to create a very good drink.
Yeah,
that's how I've always described their.
I don't know if you should say that, because poor Jericho was already in a mixed drink at All Out. Poor Jericho. All of his clothes are stained now with orange juice and bubbly.
He's with two Latino boys and a boy that he claims is Latino but isn't whatsoever.
That's the funny thing. Sammy never said he was Latino. Just Jericho called him the Spanish God, and Sammy was just like, Fuck it. I'm just gonna roll with it.
Hey, at least it's better than the best ever.
Yeah, I agree. The Spanish God made. He does look Spanish, even though he doesn't. Even though he isn't. I could see where Jericho thought he was Spanish.
It's the fucking haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least Sammy's taking the gimmick to heart because Sammy's doing Duolingo and he's like learning Spanish as because he got called that by Jericho.
You missed your Spanish lesson. You know what that means.
Jericho's gonna make you do your Spanish lesson. You better do your Duolingo homework, son, or I'm gonna put you in the walls.
Anyway, why don't we get back into it so we can finish this up and I can finally head home and be.
Yeah. Let's get on with the question I was gonna pose to. Although Mike, I already posed this to you, but I haven't posed this to Nikos yet.
Why are you?
So
what the fuck? That's not okay, dude.
Not like that. Shut okay, so Nikos.
Yes.
I went over this idea with Mike and I said, okay, this was not a thing of what if they did do this. I realize now after looking at this more in depth from a financial standpoint, AEW needs to do this. It's not a matter of if they should, they need to. Are you aware of Impact Wrestling and them owning an app called Impact Plus?
I think I may have heard of it, yes.
Yeah, it's an app where Impact puts all their old content up. And all of their pay-per-views are on there as well, and you could get all the shows there specifically on there.
Okay.
I think what needs to happen is AEW needs to get in touch with Don Callis, merge Impact with AEW, have Dynamite and Impact as their two separate shows, one on TBS, one on TNT, and if for no other reason but to have that wrestling app, because then they could put all of their content on that application and sell it for whatever price Impact's selling it for now. I think it's like $11.99 or something. If they do that and they put their pay-per-views on there, I think they'd make a hell of a lot more money because a lot more people would be in tune to buy AEW. Because if they're buying their toys out of stock, they'd be buying this app in a heartbeat if AEW was a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's, they're able to get more and more footage.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point...
Well, think about it. It not only do you have the footage, but now you have the TNA library if they work this out. Because now, Don and Tony work out a deal, and now they have the Impact library. And then with Tony Khan's, business partnerships with the NWA, maybe they could bring the NWA to the fucking app. Maybe they can work out a deal with MLW and they can bring that to the app. And then, you kind of have a good base for a talent exchange, as well as two brands that are already loaded with talent right now as it is.
So, my one issue with it, and this is the only thing I've been able to really find that's an issue, is that if Tony Khan is to, let's say, buy or obtain the rights for Impact,
I'm not even saying he has to buy it. I'm saying like he works out a deal with Don Callis to merge.
No, I know. But
remember how Jarrett tried to do it with TNA before, but then he fucked up and didn't sign the thing because he was too drunk.
No, I agree. But hear me out.
Yeah.
My one thing that I can say, this is my one thing that is kind of playing in my head. How much debt do you think TNA Impact has?
Oh, you leave that. I think Don. Actually, no. I think Don paid it off with the Access TV acquisition.
He probably had. I'm just putting it in perspective that TNA is kind of known for. I think I think they have the TNA footage. I think TNA the company is folded, but Impact Wrestling is a new company. No, I know.
It's weird. I don't think there's any debt right now.
Just hear me out. All I'm trying to say is that TNA has this stigma of being a company that has a lot of money thrown at it and not making any of it back.
I understand that for sure. Here's the issue, though. Impact doesn't have the stigma. TNA did. Impact it doesn't have the stigma. Right now, they don't have any positive or negative stigma. AEW has positive reinforcement here.
That means that
Tony Khan is not Dixie Carter. That's the thing here. If Tony Khan were to acquire Impact Wrestling tomorrow, let's say, and he puts it on TBS, I guarantee you that thing would be run way better than TNA was ever run in its entire years it was around. No question about it. I don't have a doubt in my mind.
I would put it on TBS on Fridays.
I wouldn't because you're competing with SmackDown. I would say Thursdays.
I thought SmackDown was on Thursdays.
Nope, Fridays now because they're stupid.
Can they fucking pick a time zone for that show?
They did. They did. It was originally Tuesday for like 5-6 years, and then they moved it back to Fridays because Fox. But yeah, it's
if they are to, let's say, acquisition the rights for TNA Impact, specifically Impact itself.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they have the ability to mass market all the athletes that are on both brands and try to figure out a way of producing way more content than what has already been out there?
Yeah, 100%. They would have a lot of benefits acquiring Impact from a marketing standpoint. Absolutely.
But there is, and pardon the pun, I guess you could say, because somebody's going to notice it. There are a lot of cons that go with that as well. Okay. Which is the tainted ass history. That is TNA Impact.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, right now they built a pretty good base right now. If Tony Khan can work out a deal with Callis, their main event division picture right now is great. It's going to be Eric Young versus Rich Swann for the title. That's a great match, and the way they built up that feud, as I said, was like some of the best stuff that Impact's done in a very long time. Right now, now granted, they can't have so many they would have way more tag teams than they know what to do with, and right now they're building up so many trios that they don't even know what to do with. So I'd highly recommend that you bring the trios division to Impact. Keep the tag team division as it is in Dynamite, just to make everything kind of look different, if you know what I mean. Because if AEW is going to do this, they might as well get a brand split out of it, and you can do the brand split right and make both shows look unique and feel different. Whereas, we lost that faith in WWE a long time ago.
Agreed. So
Tony Khan's a good businessman, is my point. He'd be able to make Impact a household name again. I have no doubt in my mind.
Here is what I'm going to say, because I actually have to kind of go because I have to head home and get. I know, but I have to head. I'll be probably back at my house in about 30 minutes anyway. So if you want, we could probably take a commercial break in between, so that way I could go back to the house, get my stuff unpacked, and then be able to hop back on here. The question I'll pose.
We got 2 hours before. That's fine.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to pose. We'll call it like the commercial break right here.
Yeah.
If both of you are okay with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to ask Travis because it's not my show, but I'll ask, hey, can we have like a small commercial break?
It's a quick little pause in the video, I guess you could say. And James, I know that you like to edit shit anyway. So here's what the question is. Mike's question of the month or week, whatever. Since we have TNA and AEW merged together, what is your main event scene? Ooh. And we'll be right back after these.
A table from hell with the Psycho Asylum. An Iron Man match of factorial proportions. Man.
In this fight, I will melt you down to slag.
Versus machine.
I calculate a 0.85% chance that you will win in your current condition.
All metal mayhem. Colin Horizon.
When you throw me into the wolves, I will return leading the pack.
Vera McGarden.
I'll do anything to be the warrior on top.
For the Athena title. best friends turned bitter rivals. Johnny Star.
Don't get in the way of the star or you'll get burned.
James, the Archangel.
I'm the real star of this brand.
For the international title. The Outsider, Mark Young. The Executioner, Michael X. For the WYW World Heavyweight title. 2 out of 3 fall.
Inside.
In a hell in a cell. WYW Immortal. Now available on YouTube.
Join the Dark Order.
Okay, we're back. Yeah, here we are. Hi, everyone. Dynamite was very good. I thought it was better than the pay-per-view. Am I the only one that thought that? I thought this episode was fucking great.
I would have to agree.
The fact that I legit had to stay up at 3 a.m. in the morning to watch my DVR recording of it just proves how dedicated I am to this show.
Yeah, no, the weekly show is great. The pay-per-views usually are too, but this one not so much. But the only thing I really didn't like about it was that the Joey Janela one, only for one thing. Why are they following rules that don't exist on the apron, waiting for tags and shit? Am I the only one that thought that? Am I the only one that thought that? Like, why are they Why are they following the rules if it's a hardcore tag match? You know?
Why did ECW have tag outs?
That's my point. I said the same thing. Snow DQ.
You know, I think it's more the fact that it kind of would fuck with the flow if you don't know who the lead. You know, it's weird.
There is no legal, man. They're all legal. Every no DQ match,
just make it
as a tag team should be a tornado tag.
Agreed. That's what I was just about to say. Like, just turn them into fucking tornado tag matches. It saves time.
It turned into a tornado tag match halfway through. Like, what the fuck? By the way, it has gotten more apparent as the weeks go on. But I think that the team up with Janela and Kiss has actually done more to hinder Janela and actually done more to get Sonny Kiss over. Because holy shit, Janela looks bad compared to Sonny Kiss. Like, the weird thing is, he was good at All In, and then he just started letting himself go like bad. Like, he's developing a pouch. He developing that fat pouch. And it shows. I'm not the only one.
What really could they use for Janela now?
Not much.
Firing his fucking carny ass.
To be honest,
I'm gonna say it. I don't like Joey Janela.
I'm over.
I haven't liked him since day one when he showed up. I don't like him now. I think that he's a fucking carny. Whose best matches with Moxley and Darby. Those are the only two good matches.
Moxley, Darby, and Omega. Omega brought him to a fucking great match.
True.
But it literally requires him to be with 3 people that can carry a broom through a match and make it a 5-star match.
Yeah.
And he still rolls with the bad boy gimmick, but it just doesn't make sense to me now that he's teamed up with
Sonny is, well, not just that. Sonny Kiss looks more of like a bad person. Sonny Kiss is more of a bad boy than Joey ever will be. Have you seen the way this dude lays in his fucking shots?
Oh yeah, I may have to now take a brighter look at Sonny Kiss.
I had that one bad incident with Sonny Kiss where my first exposure was that stupid thing that he did at Double or Nothing. But ever since then, boy, has he really changed my tune.
He's a good athlete.
Every time I see Sonny Kiss, I'm more impressed with him every freaking week.
Joey Janela, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people get about
I think Joey Janela has gotten worse. I think he's gotten worse since All In. Honestly. I think every match that he's had, he's just gotten progressively fucking worse. And not only in the ring, because but just the look. I don't know what's going on, but that dude does not look the same when he first showed up here. I don't know if that's just me, but he looks like a meth head. Like it's like he's taking some drugs and shit.
He looks like wasted talent.
Dude, he has no. He had little talent to begin with, and then he just pissed it all away because either he's drinking too much or he's taking meth. He's taking meth. Because that dude legitimately does not look the same. I'm sorry. You cannot tell me that there's not something going on with that guy. You can't tell me that this Joey Janela is the same one that we saw when he fought Adam Page at All In, Jon Moxley at Fyter Fest, and Darby and Jimmy Havoc at All Out last year. There's no way it's the same fucking guy. It's just not. You cannot convince me that this is the same Joey Janela.
He's slowly turning into Jeff Lebowski.
Yeah. And he's getting as fat as he is too.
You know what I'll say what it is? Joey Janela is one of those. We bring him in, he shows up for like a couple days, and then we'll see him in a couple months. And then he'll come back, he'll be around for a couple days, and then we'll see him again in a couple months.
I'm starting to not want to see him
He doesn't have like the lasting power of somebody like fucking Tommy Dreamer. Where Dreamer can show up, and you want Dreamer to stay because of how fucking good he is.
And he's a hell of a promo. And Dreamer's a hell of a promo as well.
Oh, true.
Fucking Dreamer can not only can keep a match going, but he's such a good in-ring storyteller.
Yes, and Joey isn't. And that's the
problem. Joey isn't.
The only times he was in the matches with Moxley. I know people are like, "Oh, well, there wasn't a story." No, there was a story there. How much punishment can these two take? It's a simple story, but it was effective. They slowed down their paces. Joey wasn't trying to be Ray Phoenix. He took his fucking time with shit. Same thing with him and Adam Page, even though the storyline was fucking dumb. But the story in ring made sense. It was kind of the same one with him and Jon Moxley. Same thing with him and Omega. I want to take the best wrestler in the world to the fucking limit in my match type. And then I want to take him to the limit in his match, a standard one-on-one. That story was great. But ever since then, it's like he's just wanting to do stuff Ray Phoenix does, and he sucks at doing them. Hell, you know what? I'll even say that his match with Serpentico on the pre-show was better than the match he had here.
No, agree. You know what I will say? The way that I can describe Joey Janela to somebody that has no idea, like doesn't really know anything about him, he's the opposite of Mike Awesome. He can sell a fucking move like nobody's business. I will not deny Joey Janela that factor. He could sell a move like it's nobody's business. But when it comes to actually doing moves, no.
Definitely not.
Dude. He can do certain moves. I disagree. He actually can do certain moves.
He can do certain
moves. Very well. That Fisherman Buster that he pulled
and Mike
out.
Awesome can sell moves. But what I'm saying is he's the opposite of Awesome. Where Awesome is incredible when it came to, doing offense and fucking being a powerhouse.
Whereas Janela can't do moves but can sell his ass off.
He can make a rock. He could, for like an example, he could make a rock bottom look like he got hit with a fucking stack of TNT.
That was a brutal. He made Jake Hager's fucking rock bottom look ridiculous.
Yeah,
the way he fucking sold that was nuts. Like I thought he was dead. I actually thought he was dead. What you're saying is he should be a jobber.
He's definitely got the style of a jobber.
Yeah.
That's a shame for a guy from CVW. I mean, to come all the way to AEW with that much history, only to be reduced to jobber standards.
He did it on his own. He did it on his own. It's the whole thing of he has no motivation to get better in shape. He's not in in-ring shape at all. You can't tell me. He is.
Honestly, I think this whole thing spiraled out of control for him. I want to say back to when Penelope Ford left him for Kip Sabian. I think
I
that's
wouldn't
where
doubt it.
started.
I actually wouldn't doubt that might be weighing on his mind. Actually, for real. I actually, and not even in storyline. I'm being real. I think in storyline, absolutely. I think ever since Penelope, they brought the whole Penelope Ford story to the forefront. He has not been the same guy since. He has not been the same performer. He just hasn't. And by the way, even when he was with Penelope, there wasn't much there to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, man. It's fucking weird. I'm not a fan of honestly, and I can't even believe I'm saying this. But bring him back down, release him if this is how he's gonna be. Because God, he looked awful in this match. Sonny Kiss, Hager, and Jericho, they look great. Janela looked like shit. I'd rather
Honestly,
you trade.
Sonny Kiss
I'd rather
really
you
doesn't
trade him.
need Janela.
Yeah, no, Sonny Kiss can work on his own. I think you should trade Joey Janela out and release him and try to get money to bring Enzo Amore in. I'd actually take Enzo Amore over Joey Janela.
I would not take Enzo.
Yeah, I would. 100% I'd take Enzo.
Enzo is a botch monkey. And he's pretty... Dude.
He's a botch monkey and he sucks in the ring. I agree with you. However, you don't need to have him in ring. He is excellent as a manager. You cannot tell me he couldn't get somebody over.
No, I'm
Big
not
ass
saying,
guy. That guy could.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you're getting rid of a wrestler, you need to bring in a wrestler. That's just how I've always seen business. If you hire a manager, if you release a manager, add another manager.
Big Cass. Have Enzo manage him as supposed to be in a tag partner. Why not? I'd much prefer that duo over fucking Janela teaming up with Kiss and then him holding him down. Because Joey's not doing any favors, in my opinion.
Problem is, we've already seen that before, and it wasn't really that successful.
No, it wasn't that successful in the main roster. It was on fire in NXT. Although, when Enzo was wrestling, he was paired up with the right people. Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler or anybody. But, it's like they tried to make him a full-on workhorse like everybody else, and Enzo never was. He was the guy that got the ass kicked, and then Big Cass was the guy that cleaned house. And even then, Enzo's a hell of a seller. So again, he would be great in the manager role just for that alone. I think he's got the mic skills, and he'd be able to get Big Cass over as like a legitimate threat. And that's just me.
Who I would have replace Joey?
Go.
Magnus.
Yeah, Aldis. Well, Aldis, that's a step down for Aldis. I think that'd be an insult for Aldis, to be honest. I think you should just bring him in and not have him be the replacement for anybody. I think you should bring him in.
That's true. But I'm saying specifically because of how good he works as a heel and as a face.
Yeah.
He would just be a good addition to the roster to begin with anyway for how good he is. And
yeah, I agree.
Fuck, if you need somebody to tag team with like Sonny Kiss to make Sonny Kiss look even better than who he is.
Or maybe have him defend the NWA World's title against a guy like Sonny Kiss. Yeah.
Well, not even that. Have anybody team up with Sonny Kiss to make Sonny Kiss get put on a higher pedestal as an athlete? Grab fucking Jay Lethal.
Yeah, Jay Lethal or Nick Aldis, 100%. Those two would be
doing much right now.
Well, I mean, I think they're bringing back Ring of Honor soon, aren't they? In September.
They probably are, but I'm saying like right now, if you want to, grab Jay's. Do a couple training things, throw him up on a couple episodes, see how the audience reacts to him, if it's positive or negative, and if they're like, holy fuck, it's Jay Lethal, he was like one of the coolest things ever to appear on Impact, which nobody will deny. He was one of the biggest.
He was one of the coolest things in Ring of Honor. Fucking, he was the first dual champion of their kind.
Don't forget Black Machismo, dude. He started out with a joke gimmick that was so fucking good that nobody else could redo that gimmick again. There are only
No.
two people that can become Macho Man Randy Savage: Savage himself and Jay Lethal.
Yeah, true.
Because they both did excellent runs on top of his.
He also did, but you can't
his
deny
whole
his
thing
Ric
with
Flair. His Ric
Yeah.
Flair impression was the fucking best.
His Ric Flair is really good.
Did I just hear that punk right there talk anything about the Four Horsemen? Fucking love that promo. One of the best Impact segments ever. But anyway, that's beside the point. I like the rest of the show. I think my favorite match would probably have to be Dustin versus Brody Lee. That was fucking awesome. I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that main event was fucking amazing. I thought that it felt like a grudge match. It was acted like a grudge match, and it was just treated like a grudge match. I don't know what. I know people say, well, it was more treated like he was trying to go for the title. Oh, yeah, no shit. You know, but he was also pissed off because of his brother. Now, speaking of that, I don't know about how everybody else felt about this. Their placement for the ending segment with Cody's new reality show that he's a part of, that was weird.
Yeah, that was a little.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that because it was good, but it was weirdly placed.
But before we talk about that, let's talk about members of the Dark Order a little bit. Notice how we're beginning to see a little bit of tension between Brody Lee and Colt Cabana, who, I have to point this out, Colt Cabana and Dark Order sticks out like a sore thumb.
He does, but that's the whole gimmick. The whole gimmick is it's Colt Cabana and the Dark Order, and it makes no sense. But he wanted a win. He wanted a win, and he was not getting any luck by himself. So Brody is acting like he's fun and helping him. The funny thing is, I think this is leading to a turn for not only Colt, but for Evil Uno. Because Uno's actually been kind of like a really good friend to Colt, which is weird that I'm saying that, but I think it has something to do with the fact that they're both fat guys that can wrestle really well.
Here's the whole thing with that. When I saw the fucking Dark Order at the pay-per-view, I completely forgot that they existed up to that point. I know we did all the shit that we did.
Brody Lee is the only good member. Actually, no, I can't say that. Because Evil Uno and Stu Grayson are fucking great, too.
Yeah, but they should just be their own separate thing.
Yeah.
They work fantastic together. They don't need a whole fucking faction of, let's be honest, mid-carders at best. Hate to say that. Brody Lee's a very good fucking athlete, but mid-carders at best, the team. These two should
except the only ones that aren't mid-carders are definitely Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and probably Brody Lee. That's it. Everybody else, I get the whole idea. He's trying. It's a cult, and he's trying to turn the people that have lost so much and are trying to make. I get the gimmick. But John Silver and Alex Reynolds have already proven that they could be a hell of a tag team in the tag team division. You don't need them in the Dark Order anymore.
No, you don't.
Alan Angel's fantastic wrestler. He had a great showing against Kenny Omega when they were in Atlanta for that short period of time. I think he should be on his own as well.
They should be using the Dark Order as a launching point for either single or tag team careers.
I think
that's exactly what it would. But if you're fucking Brody Lee, who was Luke Harper for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
You're telling me that he wouldn't want to be the guy to take the low card talent, put them in the Dark Order, and help build them to becoming.
I think that ultimately, this is what this iteration of the Dark Order is doing. I think that's what this is. I think that the Dark Order are feeling forced, and then they realize that he's just trying to help them for his personal gain, and then they fucking have enough of their shit and they fucking leave. I think that's what the goal of this is, ultimately, at the end of the day.
Because the whole thing with a cult, at least in theory, it's leading to an eventual goal, at least by thought.
Yeah, I think the goal in this is. Yeah,
The problem that I see faced, and this is just me, is that you have Brody, you have Evil Uno, you have three members of the Dark Order that are very well done.
Yeah,
and well
Stu Grayson too. Yeah,
Stu Grayson as well. I'm sorry, just his name doesn't pop out in the three for me mentally. And it makes sense because Stu is not the first name that pops into my head for somebody.
I think Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, and Colt Cabana should be the first three to split. To be honest.
And
what about that one Dark Order member that constantly get tossed around?
Who? Which one?
The one that constantly praises Brody Lee. Like, there's always.
Oh, you mean the one that? You mean that one that got nailed in the face? Yeah, he should fucking leave right after that.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. I don't think it's
like
John. Is it John Silver? Is it John Silver?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's Silver.
Is it
so
John?
Okay, but you know what? I can't. Okay, so I have to say one thing because I feel like it's at least important to me, James and Nikos. But we have noticed that AEW has used a lot of stuff WIW has used. If there's anything specific for them to like copy from what we have done, if you're gonna do the Dark Order, do them like how we're doing the Disciples
of Darkness. Yeah,
they can lose, and it's okay for them to lose.
But they
need
should.
to win
But
major battles.
Here's another problem too with this group is it looks like a bunch of merry jobbers, and that's the problem. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, okay, you could kind of see it, but not really. Kinda. Brody Lee is the only big motherfucker in that entire group. Other than maybe Preston Vance, and Preston Vance ain't even that big. He's just muscular, So it's like you need more than just Brody Lee, and the problem is, I'll actually look up the roster right now. I guarantee you, I can find some members of the freaking. You know what? Fuck it. I got your members right here. Replace every single one of them after they split from Brody Lee. This is who you replace him with.
Keep Brody Lee, obviously, because you need the de facto head.
Yeah, you need the de facto head.
Yep.
Jake Roberts with Lance Archer, obviously, because then Jake could be the mouthpiece and actually be the exalted one like he was supposed to be. I'd actually even argue that you can make Jake Roberts the de facto leader when he takes over. And then have...
When he first entered, he said he was like... He had an associate to the exalted one to Cody's face, yet we never seen them together.
Right. Have Brody Lee team up with Lance Archer. Archer goes for the heavyweight belt, wins it off Moxley. He has the world title. Brody Lee has the TNT title. Now you have two big-ass motherfuckers having championship belts, and Jake Roberts can talk really well for both. Then you start bringing in more guys. The people I'd bring in, Death Triangle, Pac, Penta
El Zero. Pac is still going to be around because we haven't seen him since this whole thing started.
Pac will come back. Pac will come back once the travel restrictions are over. Pac,
Pac has had his best run in AEW compared to every other company he's ever been to.
Yeah, 100%. Pac, Penta El Zero M, and Rey Fenix, 100%. Those three should be in there. Serpentico as well. Dr. Luther, who's his tag team partner as well. Those are the five that I'm already seeing that could easily replace these guys because they look like dark motherfuckers. They look like they could fit in like a glove in this faction. I'd also get rid of Anna Jay, and I would put in Abaddon immediately because it makes more sense to have Abaddon in the Dark Order.
Abaddon in Dark Order would be terrifying.
Exactly.
Actually, I would rather have her team up with Stu Grayson and Evil Uno and be the third member of that specifically.
I don't agree. I don't agree because Abaddon's way too fucking. She looks like a zombie. Dude acts like a zombie. There's no way you're not putting her in with the fucking Dark Order.
That moment you really wish AEW had the ability to use fucking Abyss.
Yeah, except he's in WWE.
Wait, Abyss is in WWE?
Yeah, he made his debut recently as an on-screen. He's on screen as Joseph Parks again. It's a long story, and I don't have time to go into it. I'll talk to you about it off air.
Hey, can you imagine if they picked him up when he was still in his prime?
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, but I would say those would probably be the people I replace the Dark Order with, because I think this iteration of the Dark Order, honest to God, is just a placeholder for when they actually get more members. At least to God, I hope, because I'm sorry, if this is the long-term idea, is to just have Brody Lee's faction just leave him and then him not get members that have the same goal in mind after, this was a wasted angle. The Dark
Agreed.
Order. Yeah. This really was a wasted angle. I've given it plenty of time. But there's only so much time we can give it here. You need to bring these guys in. You need to phase these guys out, because you know Brody's naturally been treating them like Vince McMahon. The whole idea is that he's Vince McMahon, right? That's the gimmick, right? He's just a carbon copy of him. He's acting like him. Why isn't he getting guys like Lance Archer? Why isn't he getting guys like Luther? Why isn't he getting guys like Pentagon, Ray Phoenix, and Pop?
Cage?
Yeah, why is he getting? Yeah, exactly. True.
Brian Cage literally fits every single fucking archetype for the Vince McMahon guy.
Actually, no, yeah. I would say he's more the baby face to that foil, to be honest with you.
No, but you see what I mean though. Like if you had to pick somebody on the AEW roster to be a WWE guy, fucking Brian Cage exactly looks like that. He's big, buff, and he can move.
Right.
He's the perfect fucking Vince McMahon guy.
In a team that basically parodies Vince McMahon, it would work wonders.
I mean, I agree. Trust me, I agree. But you know, he's also I've always seen Cage more as a natural babyface. Anyway, that's just me though. He is a
natural babyface, but he's teamed up with one of the greatest fucking ECW heels.
Yeah, right now. Again, as I said, I don't think it makes sense for the long run. I think he'll outgrow Taz.
But I'm just putting it in perspective that if you were making Brody Lee the Vince McMahon archetype, then literally have him follow what Vinnie Mac fucking does when he does his talent picks. Let's be honest. Do you really think that Vince McMahon would pick fucking Evil Uno?
You know who I'm surprised wasn't in the Dark Order?
And I hate to say it because it's true. A fat, out of shape looking athlete? I don't think so.
Yeah, he would dump him immediately.
No, he would absolutely pick a fat, out of shape athlete. Vince has done that before. Yokozuna, fucking Bam Bam Bigelow, Big Van Vader.
Oh, yeah,
well, no,
right.
Vader. Well, yeah, but that was more Michael's fault.
Vader and Bam Bam are the exception to the fucking rules.
Yeah, but he did push Yoko. He tried his ass off to push Viscera, if you remember.
What was he, Mabel? Or some shit?
And the difference between Luther and Viscera is Luther actually can work.
No, that's true. I'm not. As I said, I'm putting more in perspective. If Brody Lee is supposed to be the Vince McMahon, then where is Brody Lee's Hulk Hogan? Big, buff, swole dude. Who?
Lance Archer.
I would say Brian Cage.
No, here's the problem. It's an evil version of McMahon. It's not the WrestleMania 3 McMahon.
Oh, so wait a minute.
So it would be in realistic, it would de facto would be Archer. and Jake Roberts along with that package.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
You know what? Another thing I just realized as I'm looking through the AEW roster that I'm shocked wasn't in the Dark Order when they first showed up. The Butcher and the Blade.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck weren't
true.
they? No, how the fuck weren't they involved in this? Honest to God. Honestly, you know where it's leading, because Eddie Kingston ain't gonna have the Butcher and the Blade, and they ain't gonna have the Lucha Brothers forever. Lucha Brothers is gonna go back with Pac, and the Butcher and the Blade, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. So, in order to find something for them to do, once you break up this iteration of the Dark Order, why don't you bring in the Butcher and the Blade, and bring them in? Why don't you bring Luther and Serpent to go in? Why don't you bring, the Death Triangle in? He brings in the refugees, and then you could turn again, you would have to find a way for Proud and Powerful to join up with Eddie Kingston and get, that's another problem too. Can we talk about that? The fact that AEW has too many factions. That's a fucking issue.
That have lost it longer than they should have.
Agreed.
Yeah, the Inner Circle is one of them. I don't know why they're still continuing after the loss of Cassidy.
I mean,
and you see what
I'll
I mean
agree,
now. Actually, no. You know what? I will say the Inner Circle should continue with Hager, Sammy, and Jericho. That makes sense. But Proud and Powerful should be the fuck out of here.
Dude, the Inner Circle, and this is just my opinion, should become the clique of AEW. That's what they should honestly fucking design themselves off of, is the clique.
Yeah.
Because, put it in perspective, we're going back, let's say, 1993, 94.
Yes.
Where fucking you had Nash, Michaels, Hunter, 1, 2, 3 Kid. These fucking...
I mean, that's kind of what they were doing. That's kind of what they did. Like, Hager's your Kevin Nash. You got Jericho, and he's your Shawn Michaels in a sense, and then you have, Sammy Guevara is kind of your 1, 2, 3 Kid, but for some reason they brought Proud and Powerful in, and it kind of made no sense.
Like, where
I always thought they brought it in because of ethnicity or something.
Yeah.
Like, here's the problem: where's their Razor Ramon? Their fucking incredible big guy who is a fucking incredible athlete in the ring.
Well, you know what? Let me look it up. Let me see.
Like, who can you pick a part of the Inner Circle that would be the perfect choice for their Razor? Because they already have their Nash, they already have their Michaels, they already have their 1, 2, 3 Kid. They need their Razor, and they need their Triple H.
Yeah, they do.
You need the ultimate mouthpiece in Hunter.
I'm looking through. Hold on.
For the Triple H, may I suggest Hangman?
No, because Hangman's too over. Hangman's too over. You know what? So, I'll tell you who could be your Triple H. And I know this is gonna be fucking nuts, but it would work. Kenny Omega.
I was just about to say that.
Have him turn on the Elite. Have him be the one. Have him be the bad seed and say, "Fuck this! I'm gonna be the cleaner." Have him join the Inner Circle. Have him dominate. Have Jericho push him to the moon, to the world title picture. Meanwhile, he's being a Carl Anderson type, and him and Sammy or him and Hager chasing for the tag titles.
Because the Inner Circle really hasn't done much.
I think the problem is when you have Proud and Powerful in with the Inner Circle, it's too awkward.
It's because of the fact that it's a mix of gimmicks that just doesn't work, because Proud and Powerful are already a fucking fantastic tag team that don't need the Inner Circle to prove that they're great. However, with Sammy being one of the smallest athletes on the roster, Jericho being fucking older than dust, and Hagar really not showing too much, you need somebody that's established in the company to prove that they are.
I think Jericho. I think Jericho, his best matches, honest, and I'm not even being funny about this. I think Jericho's best matches are when he's in tag team matches. Now, minus this one, because, as I said, Janela kind of dragged that tag match down. But anytime he's with Sammy Guevara, those are very good matches. They're very well laid out. They're entertaining. Jericho and Sammy, I think, are the most entertaining part of that whole faction anyway. And Hager's a perfect muscle for those guys.
Wait, wouldn't that mean that... Okay, hold on. I think we're going to have to change up the archetype here because...
No, I don't think so.
Sammy is more Michaels, where...
No. If we're talking about veteran status, it's Jericho. Because by that point, Michaels would have been the veteran. So Jericho, in this case, is the Michaels. Sammy is more 1, 2, 3 kid right now.
Sure.
He's more 1, 2, 3 kid. I think your Triple H is your best bet is to get Omega into the group. I know that's crazy because he's been best friends with the Bucks for ages, but
the original
dude,
click.
at some fucking point, they have to get. That's another fucking problem. They need to stray away from the being the elite stuff.
Yeah, that faction's already crumbling as it is.
I'm sorry. Well, not even just that. The whole being the elite show, they need to stray away from. TV is so much different than a fucking YouTube show. And we see that now. You can keep it going on for a little bit longer to do your teases, however you want to do it, but at some point, you have to make the right turns. And the turn has to be with Omega. It cannot be with Hangman. You have it be Hangman and he joins up with the Inner Circle, or if he just goes his own way, it's gonna fucking flop. It's just gonna flop. The guy's too fucking over. Hangman's too much of a fucking babyface now. You have made him the babyface in this scenario. His friends are assholes. You cannot tell me anything otherwise. They're assholes. They pretty much kicked him out of the fucking elite because they don't understand where Hangman's coming from. They don't want to listen to where Hangman's coming from. And the moment they lost the tag titles, Kenny's just like, I'm just going to focus on being a fucking single star. You don't think him teaming up with Jericho in the Inner Circle is going to push him to that fucking world title?
Better than joining
and it would make sense. And it would make sense because if it's not going to be Archer with the Dark Order and you're just going to have Archer be by himself, I don't think he should win the world title from Moxley. If anybody should take the title off of, John Moxley, it should be a heel Kenny Omega because they have unfinished business.
Honestly,
so,
do you know who they should add into the Inner Circle?
Who?
Miro.
Yeah.
It would be the perfect. Yeah. It would be the perfect.
Miro as Razor Ramon, Jake Hager as Diesel, Sammy Guevara as 1, 2, 3 Kid, Jericho as your Shawn Michaels, and then you have Kenny Omega as your Triple H. I think that's a better Inner Circle than I think they have now. And not to say that, by the way, Pride and Powerful are fucking great. By the way, there's no way to knock on Santana and Ortiz. They're a fucking great tag team. It's just such an awkward fit.
I mean, yeah, like when was the last time Jericho has ever teamed up or at least been around with Pride and Powerful?
Dude, well, here's another thing, and this was a question that came into my head. Not that I cared because we got a good tag match out of it with Sammy and Jericho. I think they fought Omega and Page, and it was a really fun match. It was a really fun TV match. But my question being, why wouldn't you put Proud and Powerful in that regard? If you have them as the tag team, why not have them go for the tag titles? Why are you and Sammy jumping the line and going for them yourselves? Isn't that Proud and Powerful's job?
So, I don't know. It's probably because of the fact that Pride and Powerful has had so many opportunities for the tag titles that I guess Chris just doesn't see them as getting them that opportunity no more.
Well, I mean, then what the fuck was the point?
You know who they should grab for the Inner Circle if they can, so that way they can gain a little bit more gold?
I mean, sure.
Anna Jay.
No, I think Anna Jay's better on her own.
I think it would help her, get that boost to the world title, and then have her just kind of be like, I don't need you
I think
fucking.
she's too. I'll be honest with you. I think she's too green. I think.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
fair.
I think she
Yeah,
needs. I think
also
she
see
needs
that.
more time. If anybody's to join, if you're gonna have a female join the Inner Circle in any regard, it's either Thunder Rosa or Tessa Blanchard. You bring.
What about
those two.
Penelope Ford?
No,
And no, she's with Cape Sabian.
that whole thing's a comedy act, and Miro's gonna
Wait, why
outgrow
not?
that. And leave.
Wait, why wouldn't she be teamed up with Joey Janela since she's called the bad girl and he's called the bad boy?
Because she broke up with Janela in real life and actually dated Kip in real life, and then they tried to make it a storyline in it.
She even
A lot of
said,
the-
"Why be bad when you can be super bad?"
Yeah,
And
I don't
that's
know
just
why
cringe.
I don't know why they did that.
Cool. Does that mean that somebody is eventually going to get hit by a cop car and Joe Rogan is going to no?
I
Seth
said,
Rogen
I
is
said,
gonna give
and I was one of the few people that said, let's try to give this the benefit of the doubt. I think this was on the rundown, and I'm looking at it now, and it's just like
can make
this
an end.
did no favors. Yeah, this did no favors. And now I understand. By the way, everybody's like, "Oh, but Miro made his debut." We can actually segue to that now. With Miro's debut, and he was the best man for Kip Sabian's wedding. Everybody's like, "Well, he's going for another angle, and it's a wedding angle, and all this stuff." Let's give it time. There's not even nearly enough time yet to criticize here, because I think what's the reason he's in this is because he did not get to show his real personality. He was always the fucking stupid brute that Vince wanted him to be, especially even during the fucking whole him and Lashley and Lana fucking dumb love triangle. I think this is going to be a lot more entertaining than that. I do have enough faith in that it will be more entertaining. I think that's the only reason this is happening. And eventually Miro's going to outgrow that and join up with fucking, I don't know. Maybe he'll go by himself. Who the fuck knows? I think you could probably just have Miro go for the world title on his own. Or the TNT title, one of the two.
There's a piece that we are missing.
Which is?
That's important. When do we bring in the boy that knows that life is a mystery?
Who? Who are we talking about?
Listen, bro, when you call his name...
No, fuck.
No.
It feels like...
Never afraid of him, no. Never bring him. He is... Him... Dude, everybody hates Jim Cornette, but Jim and him are just... right now are just as toxic for the wrestling industry. Keep Russo the fuck away.
Oh, no, I'm not saying Russo.
Who?
Your fucking mind?
See, this is the problem, you fuck. You always are so vague with these fucking things, and I have no idea. And then you make it somebody completely...
No, James, it's because he said bro, and that immediately made you think, oh, it's Russo.
It's Russo,
he said
yes.
bro.
Yes.
But you're not getting it. Life is a mystery, man.
Just say it. Just say it. Just fucking say it. Who?
And he is fucking Grado.
Oh my god. No, team him up with Colt. That makes more sense.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
That would be a fun
ICW did it for a little bit, and they had a good match too.
Dude, Colt Cabana. Oh, could you imagine if maybe Grayson stays with the Dark Order? I could probably see him still be a part of it. And what if you have Evil Uno still stay with Cabana as his friend, and then you bring in Grado, and then Evil Uno turns into somebody else, and they're just the three fun fat guys that have really good tag matches.
By the way, I love the fact when you went Grado from TNA, he's fucking shit.
Yeah, I did not see his ICW work. I fully admit I was very ignorant to how over he was in Scotland. Holy shit.
Dude, him winning the fucking ICW World Heavyweight Championship from the Chosen One?
Drew Galloway, yeah.
Dude, that's a blow up. But anyway.
Like,
maybe?
I don't know, man. I just
Just that crowd pop sound effect in the background.
you know, we've it's the first full year. It's approaching the first full year. By the way, again, we're not reviewing the whole episode, guys. We're just covering the cliff notes. I think AEW does need to clean up, per se, do a little spring cleaning. Who do we think that they need to get rid of in order to save some money to possibly get another person? Like a really good star, like a better trade out, honestly. Save some money to try to get a bigger contract for somebody else.
Take a quick look at the roster because that will help me.
I have the roster. I have the roster up, and I already see one guy that they can absolutely just get rid of. I hate to even say it.
Bye, Joey.
Well, yeah, Joey, we already said. Joey can go. I hate to say it, though. I hate to say it, and I know you guys are going to hate me for this, but Mr. Libido's got to go.
You will never touch Mike.
He's got to go.
James,
Never.
James, it's absolutely okay for him to go. He's really not doing too much anyway.
Yeah. We had the fun with him, but I love you, Michael, but you gotta go.
He's not doing much. That's the problem, is that they don't know really what to do. So he's just kind of there.
Yeah, I agree. And he's only a comedy guy, and it's just when I see him, it doesn't scream All Elite to me.
No, he's all oiled up.
Yeah.
He's the set of a porn flick.
Another person I think that needs to go. As good as he is on the mic, but they've really done nothing with him. And all they're doing with him is holding down Leva Bates. Peter Avalon needs to go.
I don't really either. He needs a retooling, or they just have to do something.
Or he needs to not be a fucking librarian.
And that chick he's with.
No, that's Leva Bates. Leva Bates is a hell of a fucking worker that they should actually be utilizing without a fucking gimmick on TV.
Yeah, but I haven't seen
get rid of
much
everybody.
Of her lately.
No. Then you wouldn't have a company. It's stupid.
Get rid of everybody. And then
you stupid. It's stupid. Who else? I'm gonna look through the female. I'm sure we can find somebody. Oh, Mel. Get rid of Mel from the Nightmare Family. I don't know why she's still employed. Get her the fuck off. Get her the fuck off the payroll.
There's no point to keep her around. I mean, she's probably an incredible person, but there's no reason to keep her around for shit.
Yeah, I agree.
When she's not really doing anything.
Another person, just because there was way too much controversy with it. I hate to even say it, but Riho too. Riho was the first champ. She's got that in her cap. But what do you?
What's the controversy with Riho?
Yeah.
There's controversy.
There was controversy. They didn't like her as a champ. I didn't mind her too much. I just thought the title run.
No, the title wasn't anything to fucking talk about because it's one of those. She's the first champion. She was probably the choice that they went. Let's take a look at the roster. Who's the most unlikely looking person? And that's the person we want to go with, which is not always the smartest decision.
Yeah. No, I thought it was fine. I just thought the title.
I thought she did okay.
Lasted way too fucking long. That was the problem. She should have lost it to, what was it, Nyla Rose like 2 times before that already. And then the time it was, I think it was that Fatal 4-Way match when they had a full crowd at Daly's place, and then they had her fucking win, and I'm like, why?
By the way, can I say that I kind of want to get rid of Austin Gunn?
No, Austin Gunn's actually a really good worker. I think him and I think
seen
him and Billy Gunn, who's his father, by the way, they need to fucking actually be a tag team. I don't know why you're not having them in the tag team division on Dynamite.
Also, where the fuck's SEMA? I haven't seen SEMA in a little bit.
Yeah, SEMA. Well, SEMA's fucking cohorts got fucking furloughed, I think, because of the pandemic. So I don't know what the hell is going on with them, but I'd say only keep them around if you do the deal with Impact, because if you do a trios division, you can keep SEMA and the Strong Hearts around, bring the Strong Hearts back, and put them back on the payroll. But
All right,
By the
I
way-
got one.
Shoot.
The Bunny.
well,
What was her point?
You mean Allie?
Really? That was her?
You couldn't tell?
No.
You couldn't fucking tell? Look at Allie and then look at the picture of the bunny, dude. It's the same chick.
Interesting. But yeah,
that's
regardless.
exactly. And it was never brought up as to why she just teamed up with Brandy Rhodes all of a sudden.
All right, I know who I want to get rid of. Can we get rid of Luther?
No, I want Luther. Luther for the Dark
Really?
Order. It's actually really good, yeah.
Okay.
As I said, Luther and Serpentico actually formed a bit of a formidable team.
So we're all gonna agree right now. We're gonna get rid of Marco Stunt. Okay. Okay.
Oh
good.
my God! Go away! Bye.
I'm glad that we all agree. Get rid of Marco Stunt and Jurassic.
He is holding the Jurassic Express down, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Honest to God, I wanted to like it. I thought it was funny at first, but he needs to go. Either that, or he could be the little pest manager and never wrestle again for all I give a shit. But like no.
Wait, hold up. He wrestles?
No, he does. Yeah, sometimes. Remember?
I don't see it.
A tag team tournament.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
I cannot believe it. You know what the funny thing is? I think we tried to like it, and then I think it just doesn't work.
Dude, Mark, I'll say this about Marco. He's not a bad worker. Why is he added to that group?
Like, all right,
listen
to this. You got the Luchasaurus. You got Jungle Boy. And then you got Fun Size Marco Stunt.
Yeah,
see how that doesn't fit?
It doesn't work. I agree with you. It doesn't work. I never thought it did. I think who do we replace them with? I know it's probably going to be actual big names, but it's like
another fucking
dinosaur.
You know
what? Give me like about 2 minutes, and I'll have a good answer for you.
Well, I'll get MLW's site. How about that?
Okay, and I'll look up indie tag teams because I want to get another indie tag team in there.
Major League Wrestling. Where is there a site? Nikos, if you want, why don't you look up Ring of Honor's roster?
Sure thing.
Hopefully your computer decides not to be a complete tool bag.
Yeah.
It absolutely get.
I'm almost guaranteeing that it's gonna be a fucking tool bag. I got one for you, Mike. How about this one? The Samoan Dynasty, Jacob and Sefa Fatu.
Are they related
to the Usos, related to Rikishi? Jacob Fatu is currently the MLW World Heavyweight Champion, and Sefa is actually brothers with the Usos, and he's also a very underrated worker in the independents. That could be a really good big guy, little guy tag team right there, I think.
Okay. I am going to personally say that if I'm grabbing any team, the team that I would like to at least see, I kind of want to see the Carnies.
And the Carnies are?
Nick Iggy, Trip Cassidy, and Kerry Awful.
Yeah. No, I've seen their work. Yeah,
they're really fucking... First off, their name, hilarious.
That is pretty funny. I got it.
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
and
I got it.
Why not? It's either the Carnies or I'm gonna grab the Mainstay Posse.
I mean, I could see it. Yeah,
It's one or the other.
I am trying to look.
Because I want Danger Kid and Alexander Lee and fucking Aiden. I think it's Aiden Agro to appear because they're so good at what they do.
That's
Or
fair.
hell, even the fucking Sea Stars would be great. They're such a good female tag team, dude.
No, that's fair. Well, I mean, yeah, but you have to have female tag team belts, and you'd have to get a lot more people than just them. Nikos, what do you got on the Ring of Honor side? Ring of Honor side on the roster side. Again, it doesn't just have to be tag teams, by the way. It could be singles wrestlers.
Okay. Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, Jeff Cobb. They should bring in. Absolutely agree. I don't know why they didn't the first time.
Okay.
Actually, I think Jeff Cobb should have fucking made sense to join the Inner Circle, and then, naturally, I don't know why they didn't keep him.
You know who they should bring in for Taz?
Who?
For Taz and Brian Cage, Michael Elgin. To bring back.
Yes, but that depends. That depends on if they're not Me Tooing him as well.
No, don't reach. Have him come back.
No. What I mean by that is I don't know if he fucked up and did some shady shit with some girl. They're still investigating that, and that's why he got fired from Impact. So I have no idea what the fuck's going on. That was a part of that whole speaking out movement and shit. So I don't know what's going on.
We do both agree though that the fucking machine, the unbreakable fucking machines, are
it would be a hell of a tag team. I just think that you don't really need it if you got Wardlow there.
No, that's true. I mean, Wardlow could probably fill in the space. Oh god, that tag team was so fucking good.
A person that I think they should fill in for the female. If we had to get rid of one female, by the way, I think we got rid of Mel. I would replace her immediately with either. I mean, they got Thunder Rosa now. I would bring in Camille from the NWA.
I'd also get rid of the fucking alien.
No, Chris Statlander you can keep only if you do a tag team division, though. And if you would have to do that relatively quick.
Yeah, because
that's my only thing, and that's if you do a merger with Impact too, because they have a lot of women there at the moment.
Question: what are the?
And you could team up. If you do a women's tournament tag team. You could team Chris Statlander up with Shauna, because Shauna's like a big DBZ nerd, so it would kind of make sense. One likes aliens, and then one thinks she is an alien, so there you go. Let me see. At this point, the podcast has gone off the rails, ladies and gentlemen, as we are now. Basically recommending people for Tony Khan to pick up and buy out contracts of.
Yeah, such as like, I don't know, the London Riots or the Kings of the North.
Oh, you know who would be really good if you can get the other two as well. Actually, I don't know why what. Well, Motor City is if you work out a deal with Impact, you could already get the Motor City guns as part of the package.
Can we call it as is? They are the greatest fucking footwork tag team ever made.
Yeah, there's nobody. I don't even think the Young Bucks can top them.
No, there is nobody that has changed how tag team wrestling is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Fucking Motor City Machine Guns is literally the dream team. Two guys that have very good wrestling styles working together and making one of the most dominant tag teams I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. What about on your end, Nikos, on the Ring of Honor side? Tag team, singles, doesn't matter.
For tag teams, I would say the Briscoe brothers.
They're a really good team. The only thing is, I know Tony Khan's political views. It would not align with what they think. I think it's stupid. I don't think you should sign somebody for their fucking political views, but, I mean, let's humor it and pretend that's going to be a factor. You know what I mean?
Do you know who I would buy out from
Who?
his WWE contract if they could get him? Because they already have Matt Sydal.
Who?
Grab fucking Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet. Oh, yeah, him and Matt Sydal as a tag team, yeah.
Dude, they were a tag team. Like, they were so... My
Him,
God.
Osprey, has anybody seen the 6-man tag at PWG between the Young Bucks and Adam Hangman Page versus Matt Sydal, Will Ospreay, and Ricochet? It's fucking amazing. Oh my God, that's so fucking awesome.
It is literally, dude, Ricochet in general, I don't care what anybody says. He is the nowadays generation superstar. And the fact that that fucking company is not pushing him to the moon is retarded. He is literally the per pound greatest athletic marvel I think I've ever seen in the ring today.
I agree.
And him and Sydal's match at PWG is so fucking good.
Yeah, no, I agree. So there's a couple of people here that I don't know. Has anybody heard the MMA fighter that's now a pro wrestler? Has anybody heard the name Filthy Tom Lawler?
Yeah, actually, he's pretty good.
He is in MLW right now, but he's apparently a part of a tag team called Team Filthy. Guess who's a part of this fucking travesty?
Filthy Frank.
No. God damn it.
Imagine, though. Come on.
No. Eric Stevens, who is just a B-level fucking UFC fighter, and King Mo.
Wait, like I was fucking Viscera's like secondary.
No, not that King Mo. No, I'm talking about the MMA fighter that wasn't that good in Bellator, King Mo.
Oh.
That King Mo. Yeah, I don't know why. Okay. New plan. Buy out Tom Lawler's contract. Bring in Cain Velasquez. And bring in Cold Steel Chuck O'Neal. I think you got a far better fucking team of MMA fighters turned pro wrestlers. Because I don't know why you have King Mo and Eric Stevens. I've seen Eric Stevens work. He's okay, but not to the level of fucking Tom Lawler. And King Mo's always fucking sucked. I don't know. What the fuck, MLW? Really? Jesus Christ. That had to have been a TV contract thing.
I don't know, man, but they really should fucking buy out. If I was AEW, I would be contacting Ricochet.
I'd contact Ricochet 100%, yeah, but I doubt he could because Vince is so probably some stupid stingy thing.
Hey, so we got Orange Cassidy, right?
Juice Robinson, yes. They should bring him in, and they should bring in Pineapple Pete back.
Hold on, I'm not done. Hold on, I'm not done. And then they bring in Cheeseburger.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
They'll be called
Cheeseburger is another fucking comedy guy. We don't need more comedy people.
No, they shall be.
I have no problem with comedy, but like not just strictly comedy wrestlers in AEW, at least.
Listen, they're going to be called Pulp Friction, and what's going to happen is when Cheeseburger shows up, he's going to be called Royale with cheese.
Oh, for fuck's sake! No.
Yes.
No. You would get far better fucking use of Juice Robinson coming in and having him team up with Cassidy. Give me a break.
What about how do you feel about Joe Hendry?
Yes. Joe Hendry's fucking great. Joe Hendry's a hell of a talker, and he's a fucking multi-tool athlete. You absolutely should bring a guy like Joe Hendry.
How is Josh Woods not in the Dark Order based upon his look alone? Him and Kayun with fucking.
I mean, now that they're working with the NWA, realistically they're probably working with Ring of Honor too. So I don't see why they couldn't bring him in.
Dude, Thunder Rosa and fucking Maria Monique as a team. Fuck you! You can't stop that shit.
Yeah, this podcast is just taking a turn, but it's fun. I'm sure Travis is enjoying us naming people that are better than some of the people they have on the roster right now.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab Glacier, right? And then we're gonna grab PCO, and we're gonna put them together so people get confused about the same guys in the same ring at the same time.
Their tag team name shall be
Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero.
Nice.
Close enough.
Okay, so hear me out. Why the fuck does Ryan Nova look like Austin Watunsky?
He does, doesn't he? He does. I thought the same thing when I looked it up.
He
I thought
totally
the same thing. Yeah. Okay. But that's neither here nor there. I got the NWA. Who's got what roster up? Because currently I got MLW's roster and NWA's roster. And Nikos, you got
I got Ring of Honor's roster.
Okay.
I'll get the Impact roster just in case if they decide to do a.
Well, I mean, I got the Impact. I know this is gonna be crazy to say. But I do have an Impact roster. If you look at the Google Doc, Mike.
I already did.
The one that I came up with. Okay. Here's one that I think that could actually make him a big amount of money, and I know people think that's crazy for me to say. But how the fuck do you not bring in KSI? And hear me out before you shit on me. Hear me out. How many pay-per-views did fucking KSI sell for an amateur fucking boxing match? Not to mention the fact that if you equate that and the drawing power of him, that was like over 1 million, by the way. For those who don't know, look it up. You equate the pay-per-view drawing power of KSI, and then you equate the fact that he actually has pro wrestling training, along with the fucking athletic background now in boxing, and in fucking football and soccer. How the fuck do you not bring in a guy like that? Especially with his fucking following. Are you kidding me? Like, let's look at KSI's Social Blade, right? Fucking 10 million on YouTube, 20 million on his first channel, his main channel. The Sidemen, which is just primarily KSI and friends, let's be honest. Fucking almost 10 million itself. They're at like 9.3 million right now. Like, I give Tony Khan for being a smart businessman, and for the most part he is fundamentally. But how do you not look at what KSI did and not offer something to that guy? Honest to God. You know what I mean?
Fair point. I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
Like, how do you not look at that and be like, shit, he actually draws a lot of money. I should probably bring him in and make him like one of my top stars. Like, how do you not think that? That to me is just like a no-brainer is bringing in a guy like JJ. Just because of his drawing power alone. And not to mention the fact that anytime he's on a fucking... I guarantee you he'd pull in a lot more of that YouTube audience than a fucking Sammy Guevara.
Than a Sammy Guevara. Not many Sammy Guevara, just a Sammy Guevara.
No, the Sammy Guevara. I like Sammy, don't get me wrong. I just, again...
Sammy Guevara.
and by the way, for those who don't think that the YouTuber KSI doesn't have wrestling training, that's completely false. He actually does. You can look it up. In fact, KSI wrestling. Well, yeah, let me see here.
Okay, but James, hear me out.
Yep, it's under Rulem Sports. He fought the pastor. What? I don't know who he is. He actually had the fundamentals down pretty fucking well. So he doesn't need that much training when you put him in the Nightmare Camp. Whatever the fuck Cody's camp is over there.
So you're saying, and hear me out, and I know somebody's going to get on my ass as soon as I say this. Are you saying that he is the WNBA of wrestling?
No.
Mostly just fundamentals?
Oh no! Actually, I think he could actually probably pull out a far better match than
Hey,
nowadays. Now that he has
Nikos.
now that he has a boxing history, probably could do a lot better.
Nikos.
Yes.
Rosemary and Abaddon.
Yes, I agree. I absolutely fucking agree with that. Yes.
That would be fucking
And you have to include
thing.
Su Yun in that too.
Oh yeah.
Su Yun, Rosemary, and Abaddon, all a part of the Dark Order. If you bring in a women's tag team division, have them be in the Dark Order, have them win all the titles on the female side. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Dude, these are like the fucking Psycho Sisters. These crazy bitches are the Psycho Circus.
Yes, indeed. Um, Chris Adonis, aka Chris Masters.
Maybe. I would put him on a maybe scale because I haven't seen too much of him recently. So I don't really have a perspective on how he is.
How the fuck did they not bring in Matt Cross?
Oh, that's a fair point, actually.
Why have they not brought him in? Because Matt Cross was in the original All In.
Hold on. Let me take a look. Matt Cross. Is it as it's spelled?
Yep,
Like,
Matt
does it
Cross,
sound
American professional wrestler. Yep. Like, this dude looks like a fucking beast, by the way. Because
Could it be, and I have a theory, maybe he's under contract somewhere else and they just don't want to have to try to do a buyout because buyouts are fucking expensive.
last appearance he made for a wrestling company was just Lucha Underground. That's it. He was a part of Lucha Underground. He was actually MJF's first mainstream opponent, and he won. So I'm shocked he's actually not a part of I'm shocked he's not a part of AEW. Oh, people to get rid of. I know we're past that at this point. Is it safe to assume if they're not going to use him, and I like the guy, but why don't they get rid of Brandon Cutler?
Is Matt Cross M Dog 20?
He might be. I think so. Yeah, and Lucha.
No, so M Dog 20, if I remember correctly, because I could be wrong. M Dog 20. Is that a character from the fucking Backyard Wrestling game?
Let's wrap it up, guys. I pretty much already. I think we're pretty much past the whole review stage anyway. But yeah, we'll talk about this more next episode if we want. We'll definitely. If you guys want us to continue this on the alternative, leave a comment down below, and then we'll continue this and shit. I don't know if that's how we want to do it. I would like to talk about this more, but why don't we plug our stuff and make this not go any longer than it has to?
You can follow me on Twitter at HellsWarrior25. I don't really post much or like at all. I'm gonna be fully honest because I've been working shit like that. But if you send me a message, I'll definitely respond back. Follow Nico said insert his thing here, I guess.
You guys can follow me on Facebook by my name, Michael Nikos. I just post memes and movie quotes if you're that interested.
I was fucking right, by the way.
Poster.
By the way, I was fucking right, by the way.
For what?
M-Dog 20, Backyard Wrestling, Don't Try This at Home, video game 2003. He's on the cover.
He's on that?
He's in the game as one of the characters. He's M-Dog 20. That's how I fucking recognized him. I'm like, Matt Cross, why does that name sound so familiar? Matt, M-Dog 20?
Fuck if I know. You guys can also check them out on Open Mic Night on my channel. Go do it. Subscribe if you want to hear about video games and stuff. Go do that. And also check out the Indie Forest because all three of us are a part of that. We are actually
whatever works.
We are actually going to be doing a thing relating to AEW is a new Indie Force Extra episode 8. Even though 7 hasn't been released, trust me, 7's going to be a banger too. But we're going to go back to the roots and do a PowerPoint presentation at some point about the AEW Impact idea we talked about here on The Alternative. So if you're interested in that, sub to my channel and turn the post notification bell on. As most likely all 3 of us will be on that video along with Casey and a couple other people. Who knows? Maybe we can get Travis in on it and maybe we can sell him on the idea. Who knows? But yeah, if you're watching this on the Hebert TMD, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Leave a like. Share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever social media. So the algorithm is kind to the Hebert TMD. And as kind as it's wanting to be. But until next time, everyone, we will see you on The Alternative. And maybe we'll continue our discussion on who AEW should hire and fire next time around.
Madman Pondo. Hire Madman Pondo for the meme.
No, they already had too many memes with Michael Nakazawa. I think the meme phase is gone.
That's fair.